The fly I'm going to be demonstrating today is a midge larva. Be using a size 14 hook and 8/0 black thread. First step in tying any fly is to attach the tying thread to the hook. Second step is to attach a piece of copper wire as a ribbing. This is size 32 copper wire. We'll attach this to the top of the hook using a soft loop. Wind the tying thread to the rear of the hook to a point just opposite the barb of the hook. And then bring the tying thread back forward to the tie-in point. Trim off the excess copper. Next we'll be adding the body material, which is white floss. This is attached to the top of the hook using the soft loop technique. Wrap all the way to the rear of the hook to a point just opposite the point of the barb of the hook. Bring your tying thread forward. We want to cover the entire shank so that none of the wire or the floss shows through. We'll have a black underbody. When the fly is in the water, the floss becomes semi-transparent and the underbody will show through. Instead of being white, this fly will take on a subtle gray color. Trim the excess floss. Next, take your ribbing and make 4 or 5 open turns of copper ribs. In this step, I'm wrapping toward me. Tie off your ribbing material. Next, we'll bring our floss to the front of the hook, but this time we'll wrap away from us so that the floss crosses over the ribbing material. And that'll prevent any of the ribbing material from showing through the floss. Floss is a multi-stranded material and has a tendency to separate. Tie off your body material. I'm going to add a half hitch at this point just to keep everything taut. This next step is optional, and in the smaller flies certainly you wouldn't do this, but we're going to add some throat fibers to this fly. We're going to turn our fly upside down. If you have a rotary hook or a rotary vise, just turn it upside down. If you have a regular vise, you'll have to take your fly out and remount it in the vise. Hold the wood duck feathers at a slight angle. Make a loose turn with your tying thread. This allows you to position the fibers. You want the tips of the fibers to just touch the tip of the hook. And as you make tight turns with your thread, they stand up. And this represents the legs of the midge. You can see that the throat fibers just come to the point of the tip of the hook. We're going to use dubbing for a thorax. The biggest mistake that most beginners make when using dubbing is to use too much. You can always add more, but sometimes it's hard to take away the excess. Bring your dubbing to the tying thread, and with your fingers just simply spin it around the thread, forming a fur noodle. Sometimes it helps to use a little saliva on your fingers. You can also use dubbing wax. Once it's spun around the thread, bring it forward and wrap your thorax. Finish the fly with a couple of half hitches. Trim off any stray fibers. And there's the finished midge larva